interesting issue in the Orlando Sentinel today regarding some sort of leaked information about a proposed $8 million settlement between the family of the young man who was killed in a Florida A&M University hazing incident and the university itself. And I thought some of the information in the article might be worthwhile to share because I think it highlights a misunderstanding that a lot of people have about cases against governmental entities and how they work. Almost everybody in Florida has heard the story of the FAMU band and how they used to haze kids all the time. And unfortunately, during an incident here in Orlando several years ago, one of the band members was hazed to the point where he was actually tragically killed. Now, his family has brought a lawsuit against Florida A&M University, seeking damages for the loss of their son and seeking to punish the school for letting this activity go for a long period of time. So apparently this week in the press, it was leaked that the attorney for the family of the deceased young man has offered to resolve his case for $8 million. Well, that brings up an interesting point because with governmental entities in Florida, governmental entities' exposure is capped at $100,000 or $200,000 depending on when the injury occurred or when the accident occurred. In this case, the young man was killed several years ago, so I believe that the limit on his claim would be $100,000 under regular circumstances. Now, it is possible to get a verdict of much larger than that amount from a governmental entity, but what has to happen, at least in the state of Florida, is you would take your verdict if it's greater than $100,000 and you would have to take it to Tallahassee and have a special law passed by the Florida legislature and then have that special law signed into law by Governor Scott in order to have the verdict sort of verified or in order for it to have any substance over the $100,000 cap. So what can happen and sometimes does happen is the legislature will get a hold of a case and the legislature will alter it. So they may decide if the jury was to return a verdict for $10 million, the legislature of Florida may decide the case is only worth $1 million, and that's what they would pass the law for. Or what's happened very recently is they may decide that the case is worth $10 million, but they may limit the amount of attorney's fees or the amount of court costs that the legislature is willing to pay toward the case. So it's really, there's nothing concrete about it. In fact, many claims bills for a long period of time, many claims bills never even got passed because the legislature in Florida just decided it wasn't inclined to pass claims bills. So there was a time period where even though cases, large verdicts were entered against cities and states, or cities and counties and other governmental entities, nothing would happen with them. But recently, some claims bills have passed, although they've been tinkered with by the legislature, as I said before. So cases against governmental entities are always difficult. It's never a sure thing. They have very many protections under the law that make it that make them defend these cases very vigorously. So if you have any questions about a case against a governmental entity, please call me or my law partner Robert Hemphill at 407-254-4901 or visit our website at cullen-hemphill.com.